I've got a problem. I've got a 2002 Chevy Trailblazer sitting here, but I've also got a 2005, but I've also got a 2008. What's a common problem that each one of these vehicles has in common? They all have CD players. Now, there's nothing wrong with CDs, except for the fact that they only hold 5, 10, at most 15 songs in decent quality. Well, what's wrong with that? 15 songs is good enough to listen to. On average, I'm taking long drives. I'm listening to a couple hundred songs during those journeys. The issue is, without a micro SD card or being able to Bluetooth connect with this older technology, being able to Bluetooth connect my phone to the stereo, that's an issue. I've got 2,000 songs on my phone right now. So how the hell can I listen to those while I'm out driving around? This is the solution. An FM transmitter that plugs directly into your cigarette lighter socket, has 2 USB ports, micro SD card reader, and it connects to your phone. So what exactly does this thing do? Well, I don't think there's that little red and white RCA audio plug thing on the back of each one of these 3 SUV stereos. So, since I also can't connect through the Bluetooth, I'm now able to connect this thing to my phone and send the signal when it's powered up, obviously, so it has to be plugged in. As you can see, the thing had the 12.7, so it was telling me voltage reading on this particular version, depending on which one you get. There's different features that have some things, there's different ones that have less features, and so on. So I got this one because it has 2 USB ports, so I have one for my dash camera and one for my phone. So what this does is it transmits my Bluetooth signal from the phone to this thing. This thing has a very small, very low-powered transmitter in it that is FM radio band, which means it's sending a radio signal just like the towers and whatever out here that you get your normal stereo signal through. And it sends my phone's signal, whether it be I'm talking to somebody, whether it be I'm listening to my music, playing videos, whatever. It sends the audio to this little transmitter thing, which then converts it to an FM signal, which is picked up by my stereo antenna. And as you can see, right now it's on 88.7, so while I'm driving around, that's the lowest frequency that it can do. You can adjust it all the way up to the 107 FM megahertz, whatever the hell it is. So, depending on which setting you have it on, I don't think it's powerful enough to, deal with the FCC or TSA, whoever the hell, one of those acronyms, whichever one it is that deals with radio signals. So I don't think it's powerful enough. It's a very small, we're talking about something this friggin' big, as opposed to one of those giant friggin' radio towers that you can see from miles and miles and miles away. Those things have a shit ton of power going through them and coming out of them at any given time. This is not putting out a lot of power. So if I was to park all 3 of my SUVs next to each other, I doubt this thing would be able to transmit to all 3 stereos. That would be interesting to see, however. I'm going to test that right now. Now I got to make sure that I choose an audio that's not going to be copyright struck? Anyway, so I'm just going to use my cell phone's alarm timer. That little jingle. So, key on, get the stereo. Alright, you hear that double? Alright, so this is playing at 88.7. I could go to 87.7, I did notice that when I was looking at everything. This one is about 50 feet away, maybe 40, give or take. This is the 2008. Shut up, we don't need that. Now, we'll run over here and check out the 2002. Nope. So this one is too far away. So it is an interesting piece of technology. It's not powerful enough to reach 100 feet, obviously, but it would be pretty cool if it was able to do that. Imagine you had a bunch of cars at the car meet and everybody's in a parking lot all sitting around in a circle or something. Everybody tunes their car stereos to the same FM frequency. You could listen to one person's phone across every single car channel. If we still had drive-in movie theaters, you wouldn't need the little box on the pole that you got to put inside your window. You just turn your stereo on. So it is pretty cool. If you guys are interested, like I said, all you got to do is get yourself an FM transmitter for one of these older style stereos that doesn't have Bluetooth, and even if your CD player is broken, you know, again, get one of these suckers. You can put your little micro SD card in there with thousands of songs on it, or play straight off your phone. So the final question you may be having is, but how does it sound? It's not CD quality, and it's not the high bit rate that you're going to get if you had your micro SD card playing into the thing. It's going to sound just a little bit better than if you were listening to this song being played on your favorite radio station. That's pretty much what it's going to sound like. If you pay attention to the sound just enough, there's going to be that little bit of distortion, that little bit of muffling that you hear, as opposed to if you were listening to the same song on CD, as opposed to listening to it being broadcast over the radio, you're going to notice that difference. Plus, whether or not you're in motion, if you're driving away from the radio tower, toward the radio tower, over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go, all these obstructions in the way, other people's cars passing by, blocking the signal, you're going through tunnels, anything else that's going to distort that sound. You don't have a lot of that, so because the transmitter's right here in the car with you, you're going to have a better sound than that, but it's not going to be if it was coming off of your micro SD card or if it was coming off of a CD. So, yeah, it's to somebody like me, it's a little annoying, but it's better than nothing. It's better than what I had, and this is a useful device. I can use it in my Trailblazers, I could put it in my Silverado, I could put it in my Toyota pickup, I could put it in a 44 Cadillac. Anything all the way down the line that doesn't have this technology, this one thing covers that. So it might be something that you might think about putting in your arsenal of things and technology and whatever that you have. You never know when you might want something like that. You never know when you might rent a car, taking flights somewhere, and you might have to get an older car that doesn't have this and that, or whatever happens. If you're riding with your friend and maybe his stereo doesn't do this and that, you don't know. So if you have this thing in your pocket, you can listen to your music.